Welcome to the April edition of Inside the Park. I'm Misty Lewis, and we're here today at Fire Station number 1.
And I'm Jamie Zwilling. This is Fire Station number 1, and it also houses our utility division. You may have heard that we have a couple of fire station building projects coming up, and we'll be talking about those in today's program.
We'll also hear from Eureka Recycling, the city's partner that collects recycling in the park. We'll find out about plastics recycling, which is the number 1 most confusing thing about recycling collection.
We'll also look in on a couple of arts and culture grant recipients. First, we'll meet some students at the 36 Coffee House and enjoy some music and live performances.
Then we'll meet some younger students working on their Girl Scout Silver Award project. They're coordinating pictures that are being painted to illustrate the 40 developmental assets of Children First.
But first, these highlights. Benilde St. Margaret's and Park High finished their winter sports season, so the Park TV On Location team put together a sports highlight show.
Check it out on Sports Experience, a new show on Park TV 16. For showtimes, go to parktv.org.
Mayor Jeff Jacobs gave another rousing State of the City address at AAA on March 19th, and Tom Harmoning reviewed some 2008 projects and awards and talked about the city's plans for 2009.
The key, of course, is how do you harness that? How do you harness, in a community like ours, what I regard to be the almost limitless mental capacity and intellectual horsepower to be gained from an entire community? How do you do that? How do you think? Gang, for the last 10 years, I've been standing up in front of crowds like this, telling you these silly little stories about how St. Louis Park is different and the decision-making model that we use here. I've talked about the magic of public process, the empowerment of people to identify the problems or opportunities that are facing them, and then engaging them as stakeholders in the solution to that problem. I've talked about vision and how it is that you can look at the world through other people's eyes and trust what they see. The systematic development of informed consent. The quixotic notion of changing the way people view government by changing the way government views them. Once upon a time, I even talked about a dancing bear. Now, you know, the situation in which we find ourselves, I don't suppose the economic calamity was, not very many people predicted it, but it was predictable. But all that we've done here, the creation of partnerships that nurture the kind of creative thinking that you need to get out of stuff like this, the reinvestment in our neighborhoods and in ourselves, in neighborhoods like Meadowbrook and Louisiana Court, the reinvestment we do just in the bricks and mortar to take care of that stuff, all of it. Meetings like this, the business council meeting, the relationships we have with the business community, neighborhoods, other institutions of government, all of it has been in preparation for this one moment in time.
First of all, I think the partnerships and relationships in this community are just outstanding, and as is evidenced by the people who are in this room, by our community partners who have booths here, and also by, I think, the actual invitation that was prepared for this event, which was called Essential Pieces of the Park Working Together. I've worked in 4 different cities. This is the longest one I've worked in, and I have to say, what sets St. Louis Park apart is the partnerships and relationships that we've formed here. And it's incredibly powerful, and you all really deserve a lot of credit for making that become a reality.
Welcome back to Inside the Park, our first spring edition. Well, okay, it's not very spring-like out today, but that can change in a hurry.
While we've had cool temperatures and rain today, March 31st, here in the park, the drama is still unfolding in the Red River Valley, so we're thankful that we're not dealing with flooding here in the park.
But we do have litter. After the snow melts, we find all kinds of trash around town, so many volunteers are needed to help us pick up the park.
April and May Beautify the Park events include Arbor Day and Earth Day at Westwood Hills Nature Center, Pick Up the Park neighborhood cleanups, Minnehaha Creek cleanup with Parks and Recreation Commission, and flower planting in our parks.
For details, check out the city's website or with your neighborhood association for Pick Up the Park dates and times. If you're not sure who to call in your neighborhood, call Marnie Olson or Sarah Kruzowick and they can refer you.
Joining us now is Fire Chief Luke Stemmer. Luke, tell us a little bit about why you've been lobbying for fire stations for the past few years.
Well, Jamie, as we've told people before, in 2006, in January 2006, we noticed some cracks in the floors and brought an engineer out to look at them. And when we did that, they looked at the cracks like this, and we had significant amounts of water and stuff coming through them. And the engineer determined that we had some significant flaws with the floors. And we found the original plans and found out that the fire trucks that we run today are considerably heavier than the ones that the station was designed for back in the mid-60s. And we actually had this problem at both stations. So the engineer came in and they ended up trying to take and cut holes in the side of the building and sneak in additional steel reinforcing to hold the trucks up on the floor. While they were doing that, we had to get the trucks out of here. And we did that in both stations, but the engineer was very clear that was a temporary fix because the water, salt water and stuff running through the floors had significantly damaged the rebar and stuff that was in the floor. So that we really had he gave us like a 5 or 6 year window to, so that's about what the floors are going to last. You're going to have to get the trucks off them. And my recommendation is that you do something with the stations. And we actually hired a consultant to come out and do a needs assessment, and he determined we had other than the floors, we had other issues with the stations. One is that we didn't have enough space around them to build an addition. The other is that we now, in 1960s, nobody ever thought of having a dual gender fire department. Women were just kind of they stayed at home. Well, today, women don't stay at home. We have a number of women on the fire department, currently 5, but our facility was designed for men. So we don't have locker rooms, we don't have sleeping areas at all for a dual gender workforce that we currently have.